What happens in between Nolan get the fuck on the boat, which apparently Katie hears, and him telling Katie, hey, okay, I'm about to leave. Where does Nolan go? What's up, everybody? Justin Gray here, aka J Aces, and we back with another episode of The Big Picture, where we talk truth, culture, and community. This is Aces Perspective. Let's jump right into it. Man, so there has been so much information going around the internet regarding the Nolan Wells case. A lot of misinformation as well. So I'm going to do my best to break it all down for you here today. There's been a lot of speculation going around the case. And one of the biggest ones we've seen recently was actually the release of the full audio of the sea tow that Wyatt made out when they were panicking and their boat was sinking, right? Or you know, according to their story, right? And so one of the biggest things to come out of that for me was, one, we technically have heard a piece of that audio already, and the full thing just wasn't released, right? I'm sure you guys remember earlier in the case, they actually dropped like maybe 20 seconds of that audio where the lady goes, "Hey, is everybody on board? Okay," and then in which case Wyatt responds, "Hey, everybody on board is good," right? And that's pretty much the only thing you really hear of that piece of the call up until this week, where they're actually dropping the full audio of the call, which, one, super suspicious to me, but that call did reveal a lot of interesting things happening within the background of this call, let alone the call itself. And so I'm going to start off the segment with checking out this young lady who claims to be a sound engineer, and essentially her ability to enhance audio, clear up audio, separate voices, quiet things. It's essentially her job, right? This is what she does for a living. Now, granted, this is all hearsay, right? We don't know this to be a fact. This audio hasn't been confirmed, right? And so this is just her opinion, right? This is what she thinks based on her professional opinion. And again, we don't even know if she's a professional, right? But I'm going to try to take her at face value and believe her, right? That this is what she does for work. And this is what she actually came out with. So let's now take a quick listen. Hey, again, if this is your first time listening to this, I would suggest you, one, listen to this without the script. Like, close your eyes, listen to it, and genuinely ask yourself, what am I hearing? Right? Now let's listen to the audio. So what Trent here is going to say is basically that is the first part of the audio that is recorded initially. On the actual audio, there's actually a do like some waiting time music that's playing over that piece. And so what a lot of people did was use AI to either get rid of the music, or what this young lady did, which was, you know, just do it manually, right? And so either way it goes, the call is very interesting. That part of the call specifically is, me personally, what I think is, on both sides, there's going to be some confirmation bias, right? If you listen to that audio, unfortunately to me, it was very hard to make out. I think one of the only things that I can confirm for sure here is, oh my God, right? There's speculation that they're saying Nolan, but to me, that's difficult to make out. It just is. Everybody's saying that they can hear it, but like, again, I'm trying to be unbiased here. And like, technically, I think a lot of people want them to be saying Nolan. And you know, are gonna run with that. I can't, like, if I'm just straight up being unbiased, and to me, I 100% think something weird happened, right? I can't say that I for a fact heard them say Nolan. I just don't know. Is he dead? Right? He dead. Can we cover it up? All of these things are things that people have said they've heard. Again, very difficult for me to make all of that out. Even the is he dead, even the can we cover it up, even the piece that sounds pretty clear where he says the fuck up, right? People are saying he says get, some people are saying he said shut, some people are saying he said wake. You know what I'm saying? Again, all of that is very difficult for me to determine because I've genuinely felt like I've heard them say all of those things as I've listened to the video playback, right? And so, again, that audio is interesting, to say the least, the beginning piece of it. Now, TMZ has actually come out with something that directly debunks essentially this whole audio, and I'm going to play that for you guys now.
Wells was still on Horn Island after his friend's boat left. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ authorities have evidence suggesting Nolan was on the Mississippi Barrier Island after the boat departed on the 4th of July, which would mark a major development in the investigation. We're told at least 2 witnesses interviewed by law enforcement claimed they saw Nolan on the island after the boat headed back to the mainland. TMZ also enhanced the audio from Nolan's friend's frantic call for help when their boat was sinking, and some people believe they can hear someone saying, "Is he dead?" But sources tell TMZ people on the boat who have heard the questionable audio believe the words being heard are simply panic during the chaotic moment the boat was sinking. Meanwhile, Nolan's
Okay, so boom, right away, TMZ says, keep in mind, this video and like this interpretation of the situation drops pretty much at the same day that the information is coming about this audio, right? So immediate contradiction of stories here. You have one story with this audio where people are claiming that the people on the boat are saying Nolan's name, which would blow the case wide open because that would mean Nolan was in fact on that boat when they were leaving the island. But then you have TMZ coming out saying, hey, we have eyewitnesses from the police. I think this is the most interesting part here. The police, who haven't been saying anything or sharing any evidence, have suddenly dropped this little tidbit of information that, you know, that boat audio can't be true because we've actually interviewed 2 witnesses who saw Nolan at 6 p.m., right? And I'm going to let this play and she's going to explain essentially what the suspects, the people you guys see he blurred out in this video, what their side of the story is to date. So let's look at that as well.
Alleged best friend Warren Hudson says he last saw Nolan around 3 p.m. that day, but claims he spoke with someone who said they last saw Nolan on the island around 6 p.m. Hudson also insists his group was not the last to see Nolan, saying there were still dozens of boats around Horn Island when they left. Nolan was reported missing later that night and was found dead in the water days later. His parents are now conducting their own investigation.
Okay, so again, that's their story, right? Last time we saw Nolan was 3. We left at 4:30. We have accounts of people seeing him at 6 on the island, right? This is the story they're running with. Now, to me, team, without the like weird stuff that's being broken down in the back of the audio, the call itself to me is very, very weird. One, when you listen to it, the gentleman says, when the lady says, hey, do you need the Coast Guard? He says no, right? No, we don't need the Coast Guard. But you could also hear on that same video, he's very panicked. It seems like he's literally telling the lady, hey, I want to be unsunk and towed like pretty much now, right? Like right now. I need this now. We're down bad right now at this moment, and we need help. What's weird about that is simultaneously, the lady Vicky, the very nice lady who's being very patient with the young man on the phone, gets off the phone and speaks with the captain, who would essentially be coming to help them, and he pretty much says, they don't need any help. Listen to this. This is the part that like really, really throws me off here.
Yeah, he said, okay. I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So
Oh,
I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the
So-
bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get.
Again, very interesting, right? Very interesting. I mean, if I'm sinking, I'm drowning, I want all the help I can get. So why are you in a panic on a call, seemingly sinking, right? Actively sinking, but you don't want help from the Coast Guard, seemingly a group of people who would be very well equipped to help you in a situation like this. And then two, not even 3 seconds later, like not even 2 minutes later, we're on the phone with the captain who would essentially be coming out to help you. And the captain says, hey, they're actually okay. I just talked to the owner of that boat. I think they're fine, right? So the stark contrast of help, I need to be unsunk and told right now to everything is fine is just super, super weird, right? That part alone is tweaking me out. Then now you have the GPS tracker and the time simultaneously telling the story or painting the picture that Warren shares, because now we know Warren Hudson, who is one of the best friends of Nolan, essentially does a tell-all with, unfortunately, Officer Tatum, who is just a terrible grifter, horrible human being, self-hating, you name it, right? A coon of the coons, right? This man has a raccoon chip implanted deep within his body, okay? So not the best person to be getting our information from, not the best person I would probably want to be doing a tell-all with, just considering his history and the black community. But nonetheless, he does do a tell-all. And so he tells his side of the story. Now, this is where things get interesting to me. Not that crazy call that we can't confirm, but what we can confirm and what was actually said.
Leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan,
I want to point out, I find that very interesting that he started to go, well, Nolan was, he pauses and then goes, well, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. That was just seemed very rehearsed. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was about to say something and then he remembered like, oh, we rehearsed this. The last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. So I thought that was weird. I could be looking into it way too much. You feel me? But if I'm about to just roll with a story, I'm about to just roll with the story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to, oh, let me pause and make sure I said I seen bro at 3. You feel me? Very, very suspicious. But hey, maybe I'm looking into this too much. Let's keep going.
was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie, Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And, but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him.
Okay, boom. I guys want you guys to remember this. This is important. He literally just says, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. I laid eyes on him and he's has a girl, Katie, in his arms. He's cradling a girl in his arms. Their conversation was, you crazy, shake my head, and Nolan looking back, laughing, shaking his head. Now, in my experience, only 1 or 2 things will have your homeboy see you with another girl and go, you're crazy. 1, you're not supposed to be talking to this person for whatever reason. There could be a host of reasons, right? For whatever you want to call it, this is some type of forbidden fruit. Either you're in a relationship, they're in a relationship, or this is your crazy ex or something. Like, it could be a number of things, but if somebody's looking at you and calling you crazy for being with a particular person, it's likely taboo for whatever reason for you to be with that person, and you know it and I know it, which is why I'm laughing, shaking my head, and you're looking at me laughing, calling me crazy, because we both know I'm probably not supposed to be talking to this person. So it's either that or you're a playboy, right? And so this is the 3rd, 4th girl I done seen you hugged up with this week, so you crazy. Because another one, Really? You know what I'm saying? In my experience, those are the only two reasons you're going to see a person with someone else and you would comment that they're crazy. And it's kind of like a laugh and a shrug because the receiving party of the crazy probably knows, right? Either I'm not supposed to be talking to this person or this the 10th person I'm talking to, right? Those are typically what we see in that situation. And so just keep that in mind as we continue, because there's been another part of this story that's come out recently. Very, very interesting. But I'll get there in a second. First, let's talk about how Warren's last time seeing Nolan is at 3:00 with him cradling Katie, right? Now, when we look at the video in the interview, timestamp, you guys probably can't see the timestamp, but the timestamp on here right now is 8:43. You can see it in the corner, bottom left. About 20 seconds later, listen to his interaction, his buddy Wyatt's interaction, or whoever his buddy is. I don't even know if he says his name, but listen to now his buddy's interaction with Nolan.
Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy.
So now remember, he already said I see the last time I laid eyes on Nolan, he's cradling the Katie girl. This is at 3:00. Remember that.
Yelled for Nolan. Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but.
So to me, right away, that part is weird because to me, it's a contradiction of the last time you saw Nolan, right? So for me, was the last time you saw Nolan when you guys were, sharing some inside joke where we're laughing about you being with this girl? Or was the last time you saw Nolan when he was getting yelled at by your friend to get on the fucking boat? Those are two different vibes. You feel me? Those are two different conversations. One with a very charged type of language and environment. The other one seems very chill and calm. I can't see them both taking place simultaneously because remember, he's on the sinking boat as well, right? I'm finding it very hard to believe that you're having this cordial, calm banter with Nolan across the way as a boat is sinking, right? So it's a very different from account. And so notice he doesn't say the last time I see Nolan is when my buddy's yelling at him to get on the fucking boat. It's when he has that back and forth exchange and it seems very cool and calm and we're laughing. If you guys are laughing and having a calm exchange, I'm finding it hard to believe that a boat is sinking in that moment, right? So when did these conversations happen? When was your buddy yelling at Nolan to get on the boat? Right? And so I think he contradicts himself again. Let's continue. Let's continue.
And told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
Correct.
for Nolan to get on. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking, and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this is the last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Okay, so boom. This part right here is the part that I think you need to pay attention to the most. Not this audio call with all this he's dead in the back. No, let's go with the official story that they're telling, bro. Because it's really, man, y'all know the saying loose lips sink ships. LOL, ironically that they on a sinking boat, right? But, man, he just says right here, hey, the last time Katie, she confirmed, she heard, or the last time she saw Nolan was when y'all was calling his name to get on the boat, which can confirm that he heard or she heard us yell to you to get on the boat. Katie's story is, hey, the last time I saw Nolan, he was basically saying, hey, I'm about to go back to the boat, right? And to which case she also says, well, hey, once he told me that, I safely assumed he was about to get back on the boat with his friends. Or he says something along the lines of, hey, I'm about to leave. I'm about to go back with my friends. And so if he just confirmed that Katie definitely heard us yelling at him to get back on the fucking boat, then it's safe to assume that she would assume when Nolan's telling her, hey, I'm about to go, and she heard you all yelling for him to get on the boat, that she would think his next place to be would be with you all back on the boat. Right? And so again, just with this story alone, regardless of that audio, we have a contradicting story. Guys, what happens in between Nolan get the fuck on the boat, which apparently Katie hears, and him telling Katie, hey, okay, I'm about to leave? Where does Nolan go? This is the part that is mind-boggling to me, right? Where does Nolan go? Does he just goes now he's just wandering the island a drunken, because keep in mind they're all talking about how he's drinking. Is he just wandering the island by himself? I can't see that being the case. I'm just going to drunkenly stumble around. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm so fucked up, but I'm not going to interact with anybody. I'm not going to say anything to anybody. I'm not going to attempt to find a way back. Okay. Let's keep it moving, man. And so that's weird to me, right? So now here's the next part that's weird to me. Timeline, okay? Let's look at the timeline. Shout out to the internet sleuths that are out there, because they have made an entire boat tracker, because you know we have the GPS tracker and times on the boat now. A full timeline of what happened with the boat that Nolan was supposedly riding out on. So check this out.
At 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got...
Okay, again, the call goes out to the boat at 4 o'clock. Warren's story is, I last laid eyes on Nolan and Katie at 3 o'clock, but also simultaneously we're yelling at Nolan to get on the freaking boat. And this distress call goes out around 4 o'clock. So that's an hour, guys. That's an hour gap in between me seeing Nolan and my buddy. And I don't know this, right? I'm speculating now, because I'm safely assuming if you guys are all freaking out, your boat is sinking, you're asking Nolan to get on the fucking boat, this call to say we're sinking would have taken place, I'm going to safely assume, within 10 to 15 minutes of that. Right? So right away, the timeline is off, guys. That alone is weird. What was happening in that hour? If the last time Katie sees Nolan is when you guys are yelling at him to get on the boat, and that happens at around 4 o'clock, where does all this 3 o'clock stuff coming from? And why is 3 o'clock so important? Because even if they made this call 10, 15, 20 minutes after, that's still 3:40. It's not 3 o'clock. That's well after the 30-minute mark, right? So suspicious, guys. Suspicious.
got a hold of it.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board.
Now, again, remember, we're sinking, please help, but also simultaneously, the owner of the boat says everything is okay. Weird, bro. So you got, we're sinking, but we don't need help. The last time I saw Nolan, we had a cool, casual, back and forth banter. You're crazy. Shake my head laughing. It's Nolan. Oh, but also, I can recount my buddy yelling at Nolan to get on the boat. Notice he doesn't say I saw Nolan at this time. Right? He just hears Nolan getting yelled at to get on the boat. He also is confirming Nolan says, nah, I'm good. I'm staying here. immediate contradiction, guys. I think that should be the focus more so than anything else. And then, of course, on top of all of this, right? The autopsy, the original autopsy, is just taking all day to come back, right? The DA and the sheriff's office, like the people in the county who are going over the case, are not saying anything, right? Even though they conveniently, were able to, drop, hey, we got 2 witnesses that say they saw Nolan on the island at 6 p.m. to disprove this audio, right? They can give that, not firsthand, by the way. This is what TMZ says. They have some insider to tell them. Oh, but the police haven't told us shit else. But they'll give you guys an exclusive to debunk some shit that is like incriminating the kids. Like, come on, bro. This is crazy. TMZ, who paying y'all, man? Because it's looking real funky on y'all end, bro. Are y'all trying to get down to the truth, or are y'all trying to make sure these kids are not suspects and their alibi is good, right? Interesting. And then last thing I'll say on that is, where the hell are these 2 people been that saw him on the island at 6 p.m.? Like, you would think these types of conversations would have been had or would have been, hashed out day 2. Girl, we saw Nolan at like 5 o'clock. He was with so-and-so, doing this XYZ. All of this, we don't know where he at. Katie don't know where he at. So he was just wandering the island on some junk shit. I just can't believe, brother. I just can't believe. All right. Now, last thing I will touch on before getting up out of here.
I was genuinely really mad. But the last time I saw Nolan, I was walking to the boat. This was before the fight. It's me and my old lady. We had just got out of a group of people. Nolan was walking towards Wyatt's boat. I was walking in the opposite direction towards my boat.
Listen.
And I dabbed Nolan up. I made a slick comment about something, actually about the girl that he was with. I made a slick comment to him. Us joking around, and I kept going.
Okay, so boom. This is why this part is interesting to me, because now we have 2 people seemingly commenting on the girl that you're with. Why? That is the part that's freaky to me, bro. Why? Warren thinks you crazy for hanging out with Katie. Tristan, whatever his name is, the other friend, he makes a slick comment to you, and actually the slick comment is about the girl you were with. So what's the slick comment about, right? That call is weird, right? You're sinking, you need help, but you don't want the Coast Guard to come. Also, simultaneously, your grandpa calls the Cito company and says everything is okay. So immediate, right there, immediate contradiction of what's going on. I'm sinking, I need help right now, and hey, everything is okay, all within the same 5 seconds is ridiculous. Okay, so that needs to be checked out. 2, the timeline to me is super off, because Warren says out of his own mouth, I saw Nolan last at 3 o'clock, but you also simultaneously are saying that you also heard your buddy yell at Nolan several times to get the F on the boat, to which you guys then proceed to make a call for assistance at about 4 o'clock. That's an hour away from the last time you saw him. The conversation you said you last had with him also sounds very different from the one that you guys are saying you had. So were you laughing with him and shit was cool, or was there a heated situation and we needed to go? I also find it very interesting that all the people who came on the boat with Nolan are panicking and in a dire situation, and Nolan just decides to go, y'all got it. That doesn't seem like his character based on everything that's being said. And with the young lady saying, hey, the last time I saw Nolan was that him saying, hey, I'm basically about to go back with my friends. And you all have essentially confirmed that she heard you all yelling for him to get on the boat. To me, it's almost like you guys are confirming her story, that Nolan said he was about to leave, and I safely assumed he was about to get on the boat with you all. You all are kind of confirming her story by talking so much. So loose lips sink ships. You guys have essentially in this Officer Tatum interview confirmed the story that Katie's been giving, and now you guys' story looks weird. So I think we should definitely focus in on that part. And also the fact that they're kind of sealing and hiding these autopsy reports, right? Let's not get too up in a bunch about the audio where they're possibly having Nolan on the boat is very difficult to prove. And so let me know what you all think, man. I'm still not convinced that these kids just don't know anything, right? I do think this is not necessarily race related per se, but I do think there's a lot more at large here. Again, I will double down on what I said in my last video. The race aspect comes in for me because guys, we're in Mississippi dealing with very powerful people who also happen to be white, and we know how things with that specific demographic of people can go in this country. When they do something wrong, things tend to get swept under the rug, right? And so that's why we're here. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for answers. We're looking for the truth, and we're looking for some type of justice for Nolan Wells. And so, hey, if you like this video, let me know what you think down in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back here for more information real soon, y'all. This is Jay Aces. Y'all be safe. Y'all be smooth. Peace.